Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The main suspect in a shooting incident at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital last night has been arrested and is now said to be warded at the hospital after sustaining a self-inflicted gunshot injury. The SVG police force says last night's shooting incident at the hospital, which occurred about 11:25 p.m., involved a male patient who was receiving medical care in the facility's male surgical ward at the time of the occurrence. The force expresses relief that no other patients or hospital staff were targeted or harmed during the incident, which it describes as isolated. According to the SVG police force, initial findings suggest that an unidentified individual bypassed security measures at the checkpoints and gained unauthorized access to the hospital grounds, where he was seeking a particular male patient, and upon locating him, discharged a firearm twice at the individual before making an attempt to escape the vicinity. The police say the shooting prompted an immediate and coordinated response from the force high command, and that specialized units, including the narcotics unit, the rapid response unit, and the special services unit, were swiftly deployed to pursue leads, which led to the arrest and detention of several individuals believed to be connected to the incident. The police say the individual believed to be responsible for the shooting incident was successfully apprehended, and that initial investigations have further uncovered that the alleged assailant incurred self-inflicted injuries during an attempt to flee the scene, and as a result required medical treatment, which he is receiving at the MCMH, and is also aiding the police with their ongoing investigation. The SVG PF says 2 firearms were also seized by the officers involved in the operation. According to reports, the suspect was found with a self-inflicted gunshot injury to his testes and had to undergo surgery at the hospital. The SVG police force says it is diligently pursuing its investigation into this grave matter and urge the community to assist by providing any relevant information that could aid with the investigation, noting that the public's collaboration is vital for maintaining the safety and security of our society and for facilitating the apprehension and prosecution of those responsible. The SVG police force reassured the public that the incident appears to be an isolated one and said it is committed to maintaining peace and order, pointing out that the safety of patients, staff, and visitors to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital is of utmost importance. The force says measures are being taken to enhance security in and around the facility. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the emergency numbers 999-457-1211, the nearest police station, or any police officer with whom they are comfortable speaking with. The RSPF expressed thanks to the public for its cooperation and understanding as it worked to resolve the matter. And the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, including the management team at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, commend the brave work of the team of healthcare workers on duty at the hospital during the incident, who it says remained focused on saving lives and the well-being of the patients. The ministry says it also acknowledges the additional support and security provided by the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force immediately after the incident, and that the psychosocial team of the ministry has been activated and commenced the provision of support to the healthcare team and the patients at the hospital. Given its commitment to reviewing the security measures currently in place at the hospital and other facilities with a view to the implementation of additional measures identified to be necessary, the ministry says it requests the support of the nation as it continues to work to provide healthcare services in safe and health-enhancing environments. As part of the measures being taken to beef up security at the MCMH, the ministry today announces temporary restrictions to the medical surgical ward visiting hours. It says visiting hours to the male surgical ward will be restricted to 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. only, effective immediately until further notice, with the 11 a.m. to 12 midday visiting period suspended. Additionally, the ministry says each patient on the male surgical ward at the hospital will only be allowed one bedside visitor during the visiting period, and that the name of this single visitor will be provided by each patient and must be on a list which will be kept at the security booth at the Kingston District Clinic entrance to the MCMH. The ministry says the listed visitor must present some form of picture identification to the security officer at the entrance to the MCMH, and once the visitor has been confirmed as being on the list, a pass will be issued by the security officer at the gate, and that this pass and the picture ID must be presented to the security officer at the door of the male surgical ward before entry. The ministry is requesting the full cooperation of the public as it works to ensure the health and well-being of the staff and patients at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. In other local news now, we hear that since the formation of the Sexual Offences Unit within the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force, about 90% of matters being dealt with at the High Court are sexual offences. This is according to Sergeant of Police Nicola Williams, who on the Police Beat program discussing the topic tackling and preventing sexual offences, said she is happy that more of these offences are being brought before the court rather than just being reported and left there.
You hardly used to have a lot of sexual offences ending up in the High Court because persons felt like they had no confidence in the police or they had no safe space to go to report the matter. So since the formation of the Sexual Offences Unit, I can safely say that a lot of matters are being reported. People feel more confidential, they feel more comfortable, and if you follow what happens in the High Court, I can tell you about 90% of the matters in the High Court are sexual offences. If you follow what happens in the High Court. The High Court is overwhelmed. Nothing that I am proud of, but what I am proud of is that more of these matters are ending up in the High Court rather than just being reported and left there.
That's right.
So for me, no one can really get justice for what happened to them, but they do get some justice. They don't get all the justice that they need because sometimes they feel like doing other things. But for sure, I'm sure that persons are satisfied that when somebody sexually harassed them, they hear they get a 28 years in prison or 20 years. I'm sure it brings some sort of comfort. It may not bring all the comfort they need, but it will bring some. Because for someone to get raped, it's a life scar. But I'm sure, as I said, it will bring some. So since the formation of the unit, as I said, we have been having more reported cases because people find a safe space to do it.
Noting the difficulties in investigating sexual offences, Sergeant Williams said unwanted intervention is a problem, pointing out that in cases where church members are involved, there is a level of hesitancy to cooperate with the police.
You might have persons coming in to influence victims not to say anything.
That's just true.
Or might be vexed if victims say anything. And I want to talk about issues that I don't know if somebody might stone me tonight, but this is the truth, and I can only speak the truth.
Yes,
where it involves churches, you will be surprised to know that people who say they are godly people don't want to cooperate. I know sometimes it can be difficult for them because they care about what might happen to their family or what might happen to them if they do cooperate. But the church, especially in our society, have a serious role to play in all of this. And I believe that the churches must cooperate more. If you have incidents happen in the church, believe me, it is one of the most difficult places you find the police have problems with people in the church to cooperate with you. And it is sad. It is sad because they have a role to play. They are who the society is looking for as an example. So I want to challenge churches tonight when these offenses are happening in the church. They must They must cooperate with the police. They have a role to play, and God is calling on them to protect our children.
In response to stories told by minors about sexual offenses, therapist Edward Smith said he will advise parents and church leaders to believe children as they are incapable of sitting down and plotting against an adult. Smith concurs with Sergeant Williams that several churches in SVG exhibit remarkable secrecy and complacency with sexual abuse, rape, and other related issues.
Parents out here to understand that, and church leaders too, that a little child will not be able to something brown chicken. But most children cannot sit down and plot a lie against an adult. I have gone to courts where the adult male said, well, I didn't do it to the little child. But the little child describes it. Mm-hmm. You know, we understand that children cannot tell lies like that. That is why we were taught in our counseling, even as a minister, if the child says it was done to them, believe them. You don't have to believe everything, but once they come with that idea, some truth is in it. Now the church, I want to say that I don't want to blame the church because I am a Christian and I believe the church has a very important role to play in the community. But yes, I looked at our service some time ago and realized that some churches are very, very secretive. I don't want to call any names here, but some are right in our community. They're the most secretive organizations when it comes to concealing and covering up rape and sexual abuse.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Williams applauded former Commissioner of Police Colin John for establishing the Sexual Offences Unit within the SVG Police Force. She said prior to its formation, there was a problem where persons will report sexual offences to the police, and in many instances, that will be as far as it gets. A magistrate and senior magistrate have been appointed and are expected to take up their positions on April 1st, 2024. This is according to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on NBC Radio face-to-face program today. While not disclosing the names of the newly appointed magistrates, the Prime Minister noted that they are female Vincentians and that the Attorney General is expected to make the official announcement.
As of the 1st of April, there's going to be a senior magistrate in a permanent capacity and a magistrate in a temporary capacity. The one in the temporary capacity for a year. But both of them will begin their appointments on the 1st of April, as informed by the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. So in another today's the 20th. In less than 2 weeks, in another 11 days, really, after 11 days, these magistrates, the senior magistrate would be in, and the magistrate also.
The Prime Minister also noted that Chief Magistrate Ration Brown has taken up a post of a judge to be based in St. Lucia, which has left a gap in the local magistracy.
Know that Chief Magistrate Ration Brown was going to be upgraded, at least temporarily, to a position of a judge and stationed in St. Lucia. But what we had done, what we had planned for, was to have a second senior magistrate, because Colin John occupies the position of senior magistrate. And because there was one senior magistrate position, there was a chief magistrate, one senior magistrate, and then 2 other magistrates. So you had 4 magistrates, plus of course the president of the family court, which is a jurisdiction between the magistracy and the high court, with particular statutory responsibilities.
The Prime Minister noted that his government had taken steps to address the magistrates' shortage with the retirement of Zoila Ellis and Bertie Pompey.
With the chief magistrate, whether she's going to continue as a judge or whether she's going to return to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If she returns, we would have, as we intended, with having this another senior magistrate in the estimates, to have therefore 5 magistrates, which would be the most that you would ever have had. In fact, when you have 4, they were the most. So we are understaffed at the moment because of the exigencies of those circumstances, but the government acted expeditiously and clearly with an intention of beefing up the magistracy even before the non-extension of Mr. Pompey when his last extension came to an end. And this is not unusual. Magistrates who get extended, the Judicial Legal Services Commission tend to want to not give too many extensions.
And the Traffic Department of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is appealing to motorists across the country to exercise proper control of their vehicles and for them to desist from using a handheld cellular phone or a similar device while driving. On the radio today, Corporal Philip King, who is attached to the Traffic Department, said in order to be safe on the roads, one should avoid distractions, emphasizing that road safety is everyone's responsibility.
Never use a handheld microphone when driving. Using hands-free equipment is also likely to distract your attention from the road. It is far safer not to use any telephone while you are driving or riding. Find a safe place to stop for us or use the voicemail facility and listen to your messages later. Remember, in order to be safe, avoid all distractions, as road safety is everyone's responsibility.
The 2-day inter-school athletics sports meet and session, Corporal King is urging motorists to exercise extreme caution on the roads leading to the Sir Vincent Beach Stadium where the meet is taking place.
Wednesday morning, as I report to you from capital city in Kingston. Now, in relation to the amount of accidents we would have had for the past 24 hours, actually we had one report of a motor vehicle accident in the Kingston district. Slight damage, no injuries. So for the past 24 hours, one reported accident. I just want to encourage all our motorists to continue to drive carefully on our roads. We know today, Wednesday, is the day for the primary school inter-primary school athletics championship, which is going to be held at Diamond Racetrack. So we are appealing to all our motorists, as you drive along that portion of road on the windward side, to drive carefully, look out for the youths, as they will be partaking in sporting activities along that racetrack today. So I'm appealing to all our motorists, those riders and those drivers, to drive carefully today as you make your way to the windward side or to the leeward side.
And days after it was announced that the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force has launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the suspected drowning of one of its members at Brighton Beach, the force today says a post-mortem examination performed on the body of Robinja Spencer on Monday confirmed that he died from drowning. The Commissioner of Police, Acting Enville Williams, gazetted officers and rank-and-file members of the RSVG Police Force and its auxiliary police force extend their deepest condolences to the widow, family and friends of Constable Spencer. According to an earlier report by the police, the preliminary investigations indicated that Constable 849 Spencer and one of his friends went fishing at the beach sometime after 1 p.m. last Sunday, and sometime after 3 p.m. while fishing, Spencer was swept out to sea by a wave. The SVG Coast Guard was notified and a team of officers immediately proceeded to the area on a Coast Guard vessel and conducted a search and rescue exercise. Spencer's unresponsive body was recovered from the water by members of the Coast Guard, who unsuccessfully performed CPR on him. Spencer was transported to the Coast Guard base, where he was pronounced dead by a medical practitioner. And the RSVG police force is seeking the public's help in locating this man, Sanjada Daniel, a laborer of Prospect, who is said to be a person of interest in connection with a series of burglaries. The police say Daniel should be approached with caution, and you are asked to contact any police station or the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crime or the officer in charge of the South Central Division. In more local news now, we hear that the Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, AICA, Dr. Manuel Otero, is paying a visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On his arrival at the Agal International Airport today, Dr. Otero was welcomed to SVG by Minister of Agriculture, Subodha Caesar, who at a news briefing said the visit of the AICA head to SVG was long in coming.
I did him from the first time we met in Costa Rica. Invited him to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On behalf of the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and particularly the food producers in our country, we wish to extend our sincere appreciation to Dr. Otero and to AICA for the support granted to St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the years. I can recall when we experienced the volcanic eruptions, I made a call to my dear brother and friend, and within a matter of days, he was able to mobilize support throughout Latin America and the Caribbean for the recovery efforts for the farmers and the fisher folk in our country. Agriculture continues to play a very important role throughout Latin America and the Caribbean, a significant pillar for growth and development. And we, over the last year, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, being the pro-tempore presidency of CELAC, we were able to complete the draft plan for the CELAC Food and Nutrition Security Platform. That plan, we are going to see significant implementation over the next 12 months. And I want to thank all the stakeholders who assisted in ensuring that we were able to craft such an important platform. And I can recall the many opportunities that I had to interact not only with the Director General, but his staff, whether it was in Guyana or when we visited Costa Rica. They were always willing, ready, and able to assist.
Noting that they are working multilaterally in Latin America and the Caribbean to ensure food security, Minister Caesar said in order to cement their work, they rely heavily on AICA because of its expansive influence in these regions, and thanked the organization for its support to SVG in a number of areas, including dealing with the vagaries of climate change.
Earlier this year, we were able to put together a platform to address the issue of the drought conditions and the excessive heat conditions that we were experiencing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And again, we were able to get assistance from AICA as it pertains to how do we address issues of climate smart agriculture. As we speak, there is some work being done pursuant to a project that we're working with the organization to do an analysis, a review, if you may call it such, of the past decade in agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I wish to commend the hard-working staff of the office, the AICA office here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the excellent leadership of Mr. Michael Dalton. There's never a time when we call on that office and we always get positive answers. And the regional office also in St. Lucia continues to do excellent work. And over the next few days, we are happy to have the Director General here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we will be doing a few tours. And at the end of it, I want for us to showcase what we're doing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the work of our hard-working farmers and our fisher folk to showcase it to the rest of Latin America and the Caribbean. Indeed, it is an excellent opportunity, and I am really, really happy to welcome you to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And the IECA Director General expresses his gratitude to Minister Caesar and says the Caribbean region is a priority for the organization.
Took office 6 years ago, and from the very beginning I said Caribbean region is a priority. I am keeping my word, and I will emphasize that during my tenure, Caribbean region will be a priority, supporting the national agendas, promoting sub-regional and regional integration, and more importantly, building bridges between the Caribbean region and the rest of the continent. The task is huge. I am here to learn a lot about agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and to create more responsibilities in order to support your task, Mr. Minister. So my presence today is to support all your incredible job, your priorities, and once again to transform into a technical agenda. Let me express that the leadership of the Prime Minister and your ministry with the CELAC has been very, very important, and now we have to transform these messages and priorities into action. ICA is a non-bureaucratic and pro-action institution, so let me say that I'm very happy once again on behalf of Cordelis, the regional coordinator, Jorge Huerten, my special advisors, and obviously on behalf of Michael Dalton and the whole national office. Thank you very much.
The Lower Bay School Inc. and the St. Vincent Girls High School emerged the winners of the National School Garden Competition in their respective categories. The Lower Bay School Inc. was adjudged the overall winner and walk away with the Soboto Caesar Challenge Trophy. The Sandy Bay Government School and the Bucamenta Bay Secondary School took the second position respectively, while the Kingston Anglican School and the North Union Secondary School came in third. The competition was organized by the Rural Transformation Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture to spark an interest in the field of agriculture. Speaking at the prize-giving ceremony, Senior Technical Officer in the Rural Transformation Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, Corel Thompson-Fergus, stressed the importance of agriculture to food security and the importance for the skills of food production to be passed on to the younger generation.
This is partly the role of the National School Garden Competition. This is what we hope to achieve. Besides, school gardens are valuable teaching tools. School gardens provide opportunities for teamwork and collaboration, as you heard Mr. King just said, and they foster creative thinking. A creative thinking that can be transferred to other subject areas. Teachers have credited in this National School Garden Competition for influence positive behavioral changes in participating schools. Students who practice truancy and who are often delinquent were happy to be at school to participate in gardening. Similarly, at a time when our children are glued to their devices and cook online and farm online and become very sedentary and sometimes very obese, this school gardening provides an opportunity for exercise and for them to learn to make healthy food choices. The Rural Transformation believes that the National School Garden Competition can help to achieve all of these benefits and more.
Thompson-Fergus outlined some of the challenges which the schools participated in the Backyard Gardening project encountered, such as heavy rainfall, which he said caused damage to 50 to 80% of their crops.
We had damage from animals. As we know, some of the schools are not fenced, and not even the gardens are fenced. But even those that are fenced, the animal found the little opening and entered and destroyed the crops. St. Vincent Girls High School lost most of their crops to cattle, and West St. George again to pigs. We have the continuous problem that plague all farmers, and the schools are not exempted, predial larceny. A number of them suffer the loss of their crops through predial larceny. I recall North Union Secondary School was a victim of such. Notwithstanding these challenges, the schools were determined to cultivate. So the teachers rallied the students and replanted. It was for this reason that we extended the judging time frame from the end of the school term last year to the end of January this year, so that we gave them a chance to recover. Certainly this year's competition has strengthened the point that agriculture is not confined to rural communities. That given the requisite support and tools, farming can take place anywhere in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Today, every school will be rewarded for their effort. Let us see this competition as an opportunity to develop rounded students.
And Deputy Chief Education Officer Joycelyn Blake Brown urged the students to use devices such as tablets and cellular phones to improve their knowledge of crop production.
Basis or weekly basis, you can determine that you can take photograph of your crops and write sentences in terms of the development of what you would have noted. So I want you to use your devices, at the same time get the physical exercises as you're taking care of your crops. Additionally, students become more aware of environmental issues. More and more we're hearing about climate change. So by your direct involvement, you're certainly going to increase your knowledge and even inform your parents and persons around you who may need that information. Students, you can become steward of the environment. I know in some schools you have your environmental clubs. We will certainly like to encourage environmental clubs because that knowledge is certainly lasts you for life. You'll understand more about conservation. We heard about sometimes we have too much rain, we have the dry season, so you'll be able to navigate and know when you need to water or not to give your crops too much water. So I'm simply saying your involvement is going to benefit you in so many different ways. As a matter of fact, research has shown that students, whether primary or secondary, who participate in school gardening, they do much better on academically, especially on science-related tests. So not only would you gain everyday knowledge, improve your awareness, you will also perform better academically.
The other awards handed out for the competition are Best Use of Technology. The first place in the primary school category, the Lower Bay School Inc. First place in the secondary category, the St. Vincent's Girls High School. The Best Management of Crops, the first place in the primary category, Lower Bay School Inc. The first place in the secondary category, the Bookament Bay Secondary School. Most Sustainable Garden went to in the primary category, the Sandy Bay Government School. First place in the secondary category, the North Union Secondary. Best Management of Livestock, the St. Vincent Grammar School. The winners in the respective categories were awarded Certificate of Appreciation trophies, livestock chicks, along with a wide variety of gardening supplies and a thermometer device to measure the moisture in the soil. In other local news now, we hear that the Chumaconteria Secondary School and the West St. George Secondary School will benefit from new science labs funded by the government of the Republic of China on Taiwan through the TX Foundation based in Taiwan. At Chumaca, the science laboratory will be retrofitted, while at the West St. George Secondary, a new commercial food preparation laboratory will be built. The work to upgrade the lab at the Chumaconteria Secondary School will be in the sum of US $28,652, while the new lab at the West St. George Secondary School is expected to cost US $77,391. Addressing the signing ceremony on Monday, Senior Education Officer Aldia Dyer Gums expressed her delight in the retrofitting of the science lab, noting that it will improve the students' critical thinking skills as they delved into the field of the sciences. Taiwan Ambassador to SVG, Her Excellency Fiona Fang, endorsed Taiwan's continuing support to SVG in facilitating improvement improvements in many areas of development, including education, which she says aims to strengthen our bilateral ties.
To strengthen our bilateral ties. The partnerships not only underscores the enduring friendships between our government, but also reflects the profound connections between our peoples. Through TX Foundation's visits, this time they will undertake two projects. The retrofitting of TVET Vocational Education Training Center in West St. George. And here in Tomaka Secondary School, the retrofitting of the science biology lab. TX Foundation is a distinguished NGO from Taiwan, has been steadfastly dedicated to enhancing educational opportunities worldwide.
Parliamentary Representative for North Leeward, Carlos James, said there needs to be a focus on the sciences and that he was pleased with the partnership between the governments of Taiwan and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in promoting education development in the country.
Chronicling the educational advancement of students like yourselves who came through this institution and in North Leeward. We have to, while we focus on the sports and the general rounded development of US students, we have to also focus on your educational advancements. Very important. So, of course, the STEM programs, and if you look at what we're doing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, focusing heavily on technical vocational education training and also the sciences. And what I am indeed pleased about, Ambassador and President, and what I'm indeed pleased about is that your organization and the people in the government of Taiwan, they have joined with us to partner in our development of our students and education here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I want to thank you for that. This science laboratory at this school, I used it as a student. It was in a much better condition then. And when I told the principals who came before this current one that we are going to rehabilitate it and have a facility that is befitting the quality of education that is delivered at this institution, and I told them we have to get it done, and we'll work to ensure that we can provide the best available facilities for you.
Expressing thanks to Taiwan and the TX Foundation for the assistance, Minister of Education Curtis King said that the ministry is committed to providing the necessary adjustments to the curriculum to accommodate all areas of study from the sciences to technical and vocational education.
Today, we have an immediate challenge. That is your present science lab. And today, with the support from our development partners, and I'll tell you something about them a little later on, we will be spending something like $28,652 US, which will amount to just over 76,000 EC dollars in bringing your present science lab up to a state that you can benefit from science education. Now, Minister James did not say this, and I understand. But at the Ministry of Education, we are charged with the responsibility for ensuring, as Senior Education Officer Dyer said, that we provide the necessary adjustments to the curriculum to ensure that our students are in a position to benefit from our education system. And I can say to you that we are already thinking of providing you with a proper science lab that will provide you with opportunities in all the major science areas. Your physics, yes, thanks. Your physics, chemistry, and biology.
The TX Foundation is based in Taiwan and has assisted over 80 countries.